So after Trump's most recent assassination attempts, I gotta stop putting that in air quotes. I'm sorry, it's like a reflex now. JD Vance was very quick to blame it on Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, the Democrats, even though the guy they caught again had voted for Trump or was a Trump supporter at one point, but they just seem to be really eager to blame stuff like that on Democrats, almost as if they're trying to start something. Anyway, the reason we want to do this episode is because we have a theory that JD Vance, stay with us here, is not Donald Trump's vice president. He's Donald Trump's replacement. That if Donald Trump were to get elected, that it would take almost no time at all for them to somehow invoke the 25th Amendment and say Donald Trump is incompetent, get him out. Heritage Foundation owns JD Vance. Okay, we know this. Kevin Roberts said he was super happy about it. Everybody was surprised and did not recommend. Nobody was recommending JD Vance except for Kevin Roberts and Don Jr. and Eric. But yeah, so somehow now we have Heritage Foundation, like I said, for 40 years has been trying to wiggle their way into the White House. Gotten more and more extreme over time. Now,
openly too,
quite literally one step away if Donald Trump were to get elected. If anything were to happen to Donald Trump and they were to push him out for whatever reason, that would make JD Vance president of the United States. That is horrifying because not only is this guy weird, he is evil. Yeah, look at what he's doing to his own constituents in Ohio right now.
Yeah, the whole Haitian thing, that's his state. So
he's a senator in Ohio.
What separates Donald Trump from JD Vance is Donald Trump is a sadistic bully. He likes to hurt people to make himself feel better, and he hates everyone because he's the best.
Exactly.
That's the extent of Donald Trump's capacity for thought. JD Vance is far more insidious because, number one, I'm not saying he's a brilliant guy, but he has more basic functioning intelligence than Donald Trump. And the reason that's important is because Donald Trump's brain is quickly becoming pudding, and you can't even work with him. The guy's an uncontrollable lunatic. What he did is open the door for extremism and hate to become mainstream. And you have JD Vance, who's willing to debase himself at a level, as Trump would say, never seen before, for the sake of furthering the Heritage Foundation's quest to make America a Christian nation. JD Vance wrote the foreword to one of the authors of the Project 2025's book
Kevin
that they
Roberts.
wrote. Okay? Sorry, thank you. So to think that JD Vance is just compliant with Project 2025 is to miss their point.
He is Project 2025.
He is Project 20. He's one of them. He is a true believer. Donald Trump doesn't believe in anything but himself. JD Vance believes the higher calling that he needs to transform this country into a Christian nation.
Right.
And you all know what that means. And he'll tell you.
And part of their political agenda appears to be blame everything on Democrats. Political violence. They want us to tone down the rhetoric. They're saying that us calling Donald Trump a fascist, even though Project 2025 is literally a Nazi playbook. I'll call it like I see it. I'm sorry. They want to blame
Tim Wall says, as Tim Wall says, if you make a playbook, you intend to use it.
Right. Exactly. It's not like they just sat around for fun and wrote 900 pages of what they want to do to our government.
They didn't just craft this out last week. They've been working on this, crafting it for decades. This is their master plan.
His name is in it over 300 times. They wrote it for him. But again, I think it's just to get him in. They need Donald Trump's base. They don't need Trump. They just need his base to get him into the White House, man.
And what's really important, before we go too long without showing some videos, those people leaving Donald Trump's crowd, his rallies, they're still true believers in MAGA, not Trumpism. See, Donald Trump, his brand is Trumpism. He helped create MAGA. they don't care about him anymore because now that he's rambling, they're all riled up in their hatred. They don't even hear his idiocy because he's just their clown, their spokesman. That's it.
Right.
JD Vance is the person that can coherently craft them into doing some really dangerous shit.
Yeah. So here's a montage Joy Reid had on her show that shows just all the political rhetoric that's going on. But they just constantly want to blame. And they would see, here's the thing, that Kamala Harris has had death threats. She just doesn't go fundraise off of them like Donald Trump does. You know what I'm saying? Like, so let me show this video and we'll talk about it.
If Comrade Kamala Harris gets 4 more years, you will be living a full-blown banana republic ruled by an anarchy and a tyranny. It's the people that surround her. They're scum. They're scum. And they want to take down our country. They are absolute garbage.
But you know the big difference between conservatives and liberals is that no one has tried to kill Kamala Harris in the last couple of months.
A Virginia man was arrested on Friday and charged with threatening to kill Vice President Kamala Harris.
Federal authorities have charged a man from Memphis with making death threats against President Biden and Vice President Harris.
There's a radical left Marxist, communist, fascist.
I just say words. I just say words.
Communist, fascist.
Words.
Person, which is, she's a fascist.
I know words. I know many words.
She's a threat to
the
democracy.
best words.
If she ever got elected, she'd change it. And it will be the end of our country.
See that?
Words.
Yeah. Donald Trump wants to put serial numbers, is what he said recently. That's his most recent statement. He wants to put serial numbers on migrants that he's going to put in these, let's call them concentration camps, because that's what they're going to be. I couldn't believe this when we found this out, so I had Mike look this up for us.
Trump promises immigrants he wants to deport will get serial numbers from the New Republic. Quote, but we're getting the criminals out, and we're going to do that fast, and we know who they are, and the local police know their names, and they know their serial numbers, Trump said. They know everything about them. Look.
Yeah.
Look, let's get the laughs out. We have 4 seconds to get the laughs out because I feel like we need to impress the seriousness of that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
this is what serial numbers look like when you assign them to people and you are moving them from their homes in mass and putting them in, wait for it, concentration camps. If you notice on the bottom left there, I'm not going to try and speak German, but that is on the gate to Auschwitz.
Mm-hmm.
You should know what Auschwitz is. And you know what that means? Work shall set you free. The level of ignorance and or lack of care cannot be overstated. You don't get to, as a major political candidate in the frickin' United States presidential election, utter the words serial numbers on people, but like in a good way, like that's something you're going to do.
Right.
Don't do it.
Exactly. My family's from Germany. My mom's an immigrant. You know, most people don't, they see a white guy, they don't think immigrant for some reason. But no, she's from Germany, and she was born in 1943 during World War II.
Wow.
She was actually orphaned by the Nazis and was adopted by a nurse who had, I can't remember what was wrong with my German grandmother, but I know she always had a limp. She died when I was really young, and she was sterilized because she was disabled. That's what the Nazis did to people. Not just the Jews, but disabled people too. They did horrible things to their own people, and she was German.
See, that's the
so my mom, I'm actually glad I've never really told this story. So my mom got adopted by her, and then she met my father, who was a military. They met in Germany, and then they got married like 8 weeks later. Yeah, my mom didn't even speak English. It was like 8 weeks later. She moved to the United States, and they were married, until my father died. So yeah, it's crazy, but no, it's no joke. I've actually been to Auschwitz with my dad. We went to a lot of sightseeing. Yeah, we lived in Germany. Went to a lot of places, like the Eagle's Nest, where Hitler's resort used to be. We went to that. We actually visited that because it got turned into like this really cool military resort that we, so we went up there. It was beautiful up there. It's like right on the border of Austria.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really cool. So, but yeah, I remember being even real small, going to a place like, a concentration camp memorial, and just you could feel you
That's what
just
everyone
felt,
says.
even as a kid, you could tell something just bad happened here. You know what I mean?
Everyone I know
Here.
that's been to one says the exact same thing. It is an intangible feeling.
It's
And I
intense.
think
And even as a
that's
kid, like I said.
that's what we need to hammer home, because it's
Mhm.
all part of the same goal. They don't want to
Right.
teach history, right? They banned Anne Frank's diary. Okay. So when we talk about dangerous rhetoric, people like
Yeah.
JD Vance and Donald Trump want to pretend it's only violent rhetoric geared towards them, which it's not, because it's really them gearing it towards everyone else. But the
Right.
rhetoric also has to do with the getting used to the idea of what kind of horrible life we would be
Mhm.
living under a Donald Trump Project
Right.
2025 presidency. They
And the
would
thing,
do these things to people. They would do things to Americans, all of us. They don't care who you are.
right.
You better check a box or you're going. That's it.
But I'm tired of them saying like, oh, saying Donald Trump's a threat to democracy is what's getting them shot at. No, Donald
No.
Trump is a threat to. It's a statement of fact.
And his own people are
Calling
shooting
Donald
at
Trump
him.
calling Donald Trump a fascist is a statement of fact based on all the things we've seen over the years. I mean, it's not
But
that
also,
hard.
let's get back to JD Vance. No one's
Yeah,
calling him a liar. He's
no,
lying when he stands up
all the
there in front
time,
of a
all the
microphone
time.
and says the left is using dangerous rhetoric when they call Donald Trump a fascist. And then every 3 sentences or 3 words out of Trump's mouth is Kamala Harris is a fascist. Joe Biden's a
Yeah,
fascist. They're fascist. They're evil. You're lying. Someone please say and call him out for it, that he's lying.
I
It's
know the corporate
bullshit
media
hypocrisy.
doesn't do it. Like here he is at a rally or wherever talking about sending Haitians back to Haitian. Can Mike, you show everybody because
You're right. We had to look it up. I wanted to make sure because we
yeah,
always
I'd
strike the
never heard of
facts here.
Haitian before.
I haven't
We had to look
either.
it up.
I misunderstood. I thought that all this time they were talking about immigrants from Haiti.
Yeah, I thought so too. No, from
So
Haitian.
Haiti is actually it shares a landmass with the Dominican Republic. Oh shit, my Sharpie's there. Sorry. Just listen.
Donald Trump with this Sharpies again, man. I'm
Just
telling you.
listen.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then the part that concerns me is he's trying to say that even though these people are here legally, that he's still going to call them illegal. He's also saying that crime is like murders is up 81%, which is false. And he's also saying cases of HIV, and this is all in his home state, man, Springfield, Ohio. He's still going after them.
He's defaming his. He's
He's
defaming
defaming an entire
the
state.
voters in his own state.
Does that make sense to anybody? Like,
they're not here illegally. They've been here since they were refugees, and George Bush brought them over. They settled in Springfield, Ohio. They actually revitalized the town because it was dying, and all the white people were running away from it. So the Haitian immigrants settled there. The refugees settled there, and they revitalized the entire town. And JD Vance is shitting on them for race baiting.
Here's a little bit of a collage of the stuff that he's been saying about the people of Springfield, Ohio.
Over the last few years, 20,000 migrants, primarily from Haiti, have been dropped into Springfield, Ohio. Kamala Harris used 2 separate programs, mass parole and temporary protective status. She used 2 programs to wave a wand and to say, we're not going to deport those people here. Well, if Kamala Harris waves the wand illegally and says these people are now here legally, I'm still going to call them an illegal alien. An illegal action from Kamala Harris does not make an alien.
I'm going to call you a justified moron.
That's not how this works.
Like a dozen marchers to ignore and distract from the fact that thanks to Kamala Harris's open borders, there are children who aren't getting a good education. Thanks to her open border, there is a rise in HIV cases in Springfield, Ohio. Thanks to her open border, murders are up 81% in Springfield, Ohio. I am much more concerned about the Vice President of the United States failing to do her job than I am that a dozen people carried the wrong flag when they were marching in Springfield, Ohio yesterday.
Those wrong flags were Nazi flags. So
did he just brush Nazis under the rug?
I guess. Yeah, so the rise in fake HIV cases and the rise in an imaginary murder rate is more important to him than actual Nazis running around Springfield, Ohio. As a result of him, he has caused all the everything. We can trace all. I mean, yeah, it was the Facebook post, but JD Vance is the one that really took off with it.
The Facebook post was the catalyst, but these disgusting, despicable assholes,
yeah, it's disgusting.
Picked at something that they could just give their despicable base of racist monsters and let them feed on it and gorge on it. And now the people of Springfield, the Haitian families that live there, can't send their kids to school because schools have had bomb threats. Haitian businesses that people frequented before this happened are closing or can't open because they're getting bomb threats.
But yeah, so that's what's going on right now with JD Vance, Donald Trump's, like we think, his replacement. He is truly evil. The dude is diabolical. Like, yeah, and like he knows people believe this stuff. That's why he's doing it. Donald Trump, I think, partially believes a lot of this stuff because he's old and senile. But JD Vance just is taking this to a whole nother level.
That's the insidiousness. Donald Trump uses it because it makes him feel good to be shitty to other people. JD Vance is wielding this as a tactic to get people to vote to destroy this country's democracy. It's really that simple.
Yeah, so that's what we're up against. Got, rapidly approaching elections, so vote accordingly. I know who I'm voting for, and it's damn sure not these people, man. It's insane. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. We'll keep you posted. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Please, if you did, like and subscribe. Leave a comment for us. It helps us with the algorithm. And we will be on again live streaming this Sunday, talking about Mark Robinson and some other things that pop up throughout the week. So join us. And other than that, have a good rest of your day. And like always, we will talk to you guys soon. Thanks.